Okay, we're going to do one more practice problem on Gaussian elimination. So the first thing I'm going to do is write my augmented matrix. So 1, 2, -1. The constant on the right is -4. Then I have -2, 4, -1. Constant on the right is 6, 2, 2, 3, 1. And this time I have a 1 to start with, so I'm good there. I need to make this into a 0. So what I'll do is I will multiply row 1 by 2 and add that to row 2 and replace row 2. So remember, since I'm only replacing row 2, my row 1 stays the same, and then I do twice row 1, so 2 plus -2 is 0. 2 plus 2 is 4, plus 4 is 8. 2 times -1 is -2, plus -1 is -3. 2 times -8 is 2 times -4 is -8. -8 plus 6 is -2. And then my third row stays the same. Next thing I'll do, I want this to be a 1, so I'm going to do 1/8 times row 2 and sub in, or place it in row 2. I'm only changing row 2. I should say replacing row 2 is what I'm doing. So I take 0, and then 1/8 times 8 is 1. 1/8 times -3 is -3/8. 1/8 times -2 is -1/4. And my third row has not changed. Now I want to make this a 0, so I'm going to multiply row 1 by -2, add that to row 3, and replace row 3. So of course my first two rows are unchanged since I'm only changing row 3. So I can rewrite all of my entries. Now -2 times 1 is -2, plus 2 is 0. -2 times 2 is -4, plus 2 is -2. -2 times -1 is 2, plus 3 is 5. -2 times -4 is 8, plus 1 is 9. Now, next step, I want this to be a 0, so I think I can just, my first instinct was to add row 1 and row 3, but that would mean I would get a 1 back in this entry, and I don't want a 1 back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply row 2 by 2, I should say 2 times row 2, add it to row 3, and replace row 3. I'm only changing row 3 here. So my first two rows stay exactly how they were in the prior step. 0, 1, -3/8, -1/4. Twice 0 plus 0 is 0. Twice 1 is 2, plus -2 is 0. Twice -3/8 is -6/8. So twice -3/8. I have to add that to 5. So -3/8 is times 2 is -3/4, and then 5 would be 20/4. So when I add these together, I get 17/4. That's what hits this entry right here. And then I need 2 times -1/4 and add that to 9, so it's just 9 minus a half, which is 8.5, which is 17/2. That goes right here. My next step is that I need a 1 right here, so I'm going to multiply row 3 by 4/17 and replace row 3. So this time I'm only changing row 3, so I leave my first two rows exactly the same. And then row 3, I'm multiplying by the reciprocal of 17/4, so that one goes to 1. And then 17/2 times 4/17 just gets me a 2. Doesn't that work out nicely? So now I'm ready to solve, and I see right away that z equals 2. I can write that over here as part of my answer. Then I have 1y minus 3/8 z equals -1/4. But since z is 2, I have y minus 6/8, which is 3/4, equals -1/4. I can add 3/4 to both sides, and I find out that y is 1/2. And then I can go back and work on this first row that I have an x plus 2 times my y of 1/2 minus 1 times my z of 2 equals -4. X equals 1 minus, sorry, went too quickly. x plus 1 minus 2 equals negative 4. This is negative 1. Add 1 to both sides, and x is negative 3. And we have successfully solved the system using Gaussian elimination.